Welcome to PolitiEdu Insight, your go-to channel for diving deep into the complexities of political education. In our society, politics play a pivotal role in shaping our lives, our values, and our future. It's a world full of paradoxes and complexities that can often be difficult to comprehend. Yet understanding it is vital to making informed decisions and playing an active role in our communities. Today, we're peeling back the layers of political action, its role in both fostering and combating injustice, and the cycle of power that often leads to corruption. Stay tuned for an insightful journey as we unravel these themes and shed light on the intricate dynamics at play in the world of politics. How often do we see the very political action meant to fight injustice turn into the root of new injustices? This paradox is not a rarity, but a recurring theme throughout history. Take, for example, revolutions. They are typically born out of a desire to topple unjust regimes, to bring about change and fairness. But what happens when the dust settles and the revolutionaries seize power? More often than not, they become the very thing they fought against. This cycle has been played out in Russia, China, and numerous other nations. It's as if power has a corrupting influence, turning the once righteous into oppressors. This begs an important question. Is it the power that corrupts the individual, or is it the individual, already corrupted, who is drawn to power? So we are left with the question, does power corrupt, or is it the corrupted who are attracted to power? To understand the paradox of political action, we must examine the cycle of revolutions becoming anti-revolutions. History is rife with examples of this curious transformation where a struggle against injustice eventually morphs into a new form of injustice itself. Take the Russian Revolution, for instance, a movement against the autocracy of the Tsars. It promised freedom and equality. But once the dust of the revolution settled, it gave birth to a regime under Stalin that was arguably more oppressive than the one it overthrew. In China too, the revolution led by Mao Zedong sought to break down social hierarchies and create a classless society. Yet, under the banner of the Cultural Revolution, it unleashed a reign of terror that saw millions persecuted and displaced. India's struggle for independence was spearheaded by Mahatma Gandhi, a man of peace and non-violence. But when power was finally won, the nation was torn apart by sectarian violence. And the dream of a peaceful, united India remained just that, a dream. In each of these instances, the revolution began as a fight against injustice. The people rallied behind leaders who promised change, who promised a better, fairer world. But once these leaders attained power, the ideals that fueled the revolution were often forgotten. The struggle against injustice turned into a struggle for power, and in the process became a new form of injustice. This is not to say that all revolutions are doomed to become anti-revolutions. The potential for positive change is always there. But we must be mindful of the cycle. We must recognize that the fight against injustice doesn't end with the overthrow of an oppressive regime. It is an ongoing struggle that requires constant vigilance and an unwavering commitment to the ideals that sparked the revolution in the first place. And so the cycle continues, from revolution to anti-revolution, seemingly without end. But what if power doesn't corrupt, but merely exposes the corruption that was already there? Allow me to challenge the notion that power is the root of all evil. Instead, let's consider that power merely provides a stage where pre-existing corruption can strut and fret its hour upon the stage. People who are drawn to power often have a hidden agenda, a dormant seed of corruption that only needs the right conditions to grow. Power doesn't corrupt, it simply fertilizes these seeds, allowing them to sprout, bloom, and spread their poison. Now, this theory paints a different picture of political action. It's not the quest for power that leads to injustice. It's the hidden, unaddressed corruption within us that does. The power merely brings it to the surface, like a spotlight revealing the flaws on a performer's face. This begs the question, Are we simply replacing one corrupt leader with another in our fight against injustice? But is this the end of the story? Should we resign ourselves to the inevitability of corruption in power? Not necessarily. While power may expose corruption, it also shines a light on the potential for redemption. It's a double-edged sword. For every individual whose corruption is unearthed by power, there's another whose inherent goodness is magnified. Power doesn't just reveal the worst in us, it also showcases the best. Let's consider figures like Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi, who used their power to effect meaningful change, to uplift, to heal. They were not without flaws, but their goodness shone brighter than their imperfections. They demonstrate that power is not a corrupting force, but a revealing one. It's what we choose to do with this revelation that matters. So, rather than focusing on the cycle of corruption, let's shift our gaze to the potential for redemption. Let's remember that in the fight against injustice, we can choose to be part of the solution. The power is in our hands. We've journeyed through the paradox of political action, the cycle of revolutions, and the root of corruption. We've seen how political action, in its noble quest to fight injustice, often turns into the very injustice it seeks to eliminate. This paradoxical cycle of revolutions, morphing into anti-revolutions, has played out time and again, from Russia to China and beyond. We've delved into the root of corruption, challenging the conventional wisdom that power corrupts. Instead, we've seen that power merely provides the fertile ground for the seeds of corruption already present in individuals to sprout. The allure of power draws those with repressed desires to dominate, and once in power, their corruption simply comes to the surface. As we ponder these paradoxes, let us remember that our understanding of political action and its role in fighting injustice is not static, but constantly evolving.